Thank you, folks. Good afternoon. Class of 2023, congratulations. It's my pleasure to welcome students, faculty, staff, family, and friends to this baccalaureate celebration. Whether you're here in person or you're online, it's great to have you with us. So let me begin by acknowledging the hard work of the people who planned today's events and thanking those who are joining me here on stage. That all starts with Michelle Engrish. She's our Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the Faculty. Michelle's right here. And there's a whole team who works with Michelle. She'd be the first to say it's a whole team effort. But first amongst those I'll say is Carol Mangano in the front. So Carol. I thank Gwyneth Sultan, who's done such a fantastic job keeping us on track as our MC today. I want to thank our faculty speaker, Jennifer Mitchell. I also want to thank our three student speakers, Taha, Anad, and Denisha, for sharing your words of wisdom with us today. And last, you can give them an applause. I would also note, without fully outing the person, that I just enjoyed the fact that I can't help but share with you that one of the people I'm looking at did not tell their parents they were speaking today. Those parents had a very pleasant surprise. They were fantastic. The person was fantastic. And last but certainly not least, I want to thank our musical performers, Emily and Company, the Garnets, the Dutch Pipers, Eliphalets, Julia Borden, and Matt Parr for filling the campus today and on most other days with beautiful music. Thank you. And last, in the spirit of people you don't see, but they're responsible for what you hear, I want to thank Xiaoping Lu, who's behind our musical performances. So before I share my reflections with the class, I ask you to join me in remembering the alumni, the faculty, the staff who we lost this year. You know, this is a fitting place to remember our lost colleagues, because Memorial Chapel was built in 1925. It was built to honor Union alumni who died in wars, and it has since become a memorial to all deceased members of the Union community. I ask that you review the remembrances list in your program and join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Class of 2023. It's a pleasure to be with you on this special weekend. Commencements are always a time of mixed emotions. Because you see, we're excited to see you graduate and celebrate you and start the next chapters in your lives, but we're sad. See, we're sad because we're not going to see you in Reamer anymore. I know we don't see many people in Reamer right now, but we won't see you in Reamer much. We won't see you in classes. We won't see you in performances. We won't see you along that path as we walk past the knot. Every class is special, but your class is particularly special to me because you're the first class that I had the chance to meet as prospective students. Because you see, as you were all deciding whether to choose Union in 2018 and 2019, I was trying to figure things out here in my first year as president of Union College. By the end of that year, I was on this stage speaking to admitted students events. I remember some of you from those days. I absolutely remember you. And it's so exciting to see you here at graduation and everyone else here as well. So thank you. Now on September 10th, 2019, you chose Union, you'd moved in, and we gathered in this building. We gathered here with the rest of the Union community for convocation, which is the ceremonial start of the academic year. I noted that your class had exceptional credentials and accomplishments. I noticed that yours was a particularly diverse class. I noticed the percent women was up. I noted that you had Union records for percent international and percent students of color. I used most of my time that day to talk about that new strategic plan, to also preview what I thought were going to be some of the highlights from the coming year. I'm not going to share those predictions with you again, Let me just say, I clearly did not have a crystal ball. As I noted the year before during my inaugural address, when you're sharing a vision as a college president, you have to have humility. I observed that despite their brilliance, none of my predecessors knew what the college and its graduates would face in the years ahead. I said that I wanted to scream at President Day, who in May 1929 shared his vision. I wanted to scream to him to look to Wall Street in 5 months. The stock market crash is coming. I wanted to implore President Fox, who shared his vision in October 1934, to look to Poland in 5 years. World War II is coming. I read President Hall's 1990 inaugural address with the knowledge that the world would soon radically change as the internet would become fully commercialized only 5 years after he shared the vision for his time as president of Union College. So, what would I have advised myself and all of you in September 2019 if I knew what was coming? Well, first I would have said, if there's anything you need to buy that you can afford to buy and you can store, buy it now. Be it a bicycle, a car, a refrigerator, buy it now. I'd also say start learning about supply chains, because you're going to be talking about those an awful lot. Faculty, I'd say start preparing to teach your courses online, even though online teaching is inconsistent with our residential model. Matt Millis, I don't know if Matt's here, but I would have said to Matt and his team, have Springfest in the middle of January. I'd say, Matt, just trust me. I know it's cold. Have it in the middle of January. To our trustees, I would have said, here's what I want you to do. I know I'm a new guy. I know I have a PhD in sociology, not finance or econ, but I want you to take the entire endowment. I want you to invest in a company that only went public in April of 2019. You'll see the ticker, it's ZM, it's Zoom Video Communications Incorporated. It's a tech company, trust me on this one. Put the whole endowment in and then sell everything in October of 2020. You'd have an extra $2 billion in the endowment with a $100 million payout. Imagine the res halls we'd have. You'd go knee blind. Students, I would have said, don't put off till the spring something you can do in the fall or the winter. Because you see, what we didn't know is that the defining experience of our time, it was coming. It was only 6 months away from that convocation address. We didn't know that you, class of 2023, would be the last class to come to Union before COVID. As I reflect on the past 4 years, I often think of a conversation I had with a student in the fall of 2020. It was shortly after we returned to in-person operations, at least partial in-person operations. She said to me that she was looking forward to a time and a return to predictability and certainty. Now, given how traumatized we all were, me included, by everything that happened after March 2020, I was gentle in my response to her. But I nevertheless told her that, when it comes to life, uncertainty is actually a feature, not a bug. My further message to her, my message to all of you, is, believe it or not, one of optimism. It's don't worry, you've got this. Because you have developed the resiliency required to thrive no matter what the future holds. It wasn't planned, but it was nevertheless tested this week, right? Because we spent a lot of time this week talking about respiratory illnesses, or respiratory risks, about masking, about alternative venues, and the possibility of canceling events. We talked about what state authorities would let us do. I was traumatized. I was having flashbacks. I don't know about the rest of you. But I'm excited to say that we're going to be over there. Where are we? Over there. Not there. Don't go there. Go there. We're going to be over there tomorrow morning outside for an outdoor commencement where we ought to be, in the shadow of the knot on the steps of the library. You've got this because many of you actually committed to the Union College Challenge. You said, I'm going to go outside my comfort zone. I'm going to develop resiliency. I'm going to learn about myself. I looked back over the list of completed challenges. I looked for the class of 23. What kind of things did you commit to? Well, one of you at least committed to joining the hip-hop club, although you hadn't done anything like that before. Someone who's a STEM student said, I'm going to read a novel for fun. We got work to do. That shouldn't be funny. So, my wife likes this one. A number of you actually said you're going to deal with the stress by learning to crochet and knit. You know who you are. You auditioned for a cappella groups. You committed to speaking up in class, and one I particularly appreciated is the person who vowed to advocate for themselves. As I said, too often I think about others and not myself. I'm going to put myself first. Whether you were among this group or not, all of us committed to our shared, involuntary Union College challenge, which is how I often refer to COVID. It was a challenge none of us wanted, but none of us could avoid. You found new ways to pursue your studies and develop as people. You persevered, you thrived, despite trying to stay focused during Zoom classes, struggling to communicate and connect through masks, having to find time for that weekly nose swab at Veneer, and focusing on daily tasks despite knowing that at any time you might get that call that would send you to a COVID hotel for a week or more of isolation. Through it all, you wore, and I smile every time I see people still wearing it, the shirts that are our shared defiant response to all that the pandemic threw at us. Not today, COVID. Say it with me. Not today, COVID. As you scrambled along with the faculty to shift from residential to online education in just 2 weeks, you said, not today, COVID. As you lived in a single, as you made that commute from Washington Square, or perhaps stayed home for a term or more, you said, not today, COVID. As you faced the disappointment of canceled sports seasons, of study abroad experiences that never happened, you shouted, not today, COVID. And as you developed wisdom, empathy, and courage, you began to lead. You learned to pivot. You shouted, not today, COVID. Now, I know you're not going to forget this experience. We nevertheless want to give you a physical reminder. It's that gift I've been talking about all week, and people are wondering, what is he up to? I'm going to keep you in suspense a little longer. I want you to pay attention to the end. I will tell you it's a gift that you will receive tomorrow after you shake my hand. Anne and Maya, who most of you figured out, you know them by now, my wife, my daughter, youngest daughter, will be there to give you this gift. Before I reveal, let me give you a little more context. On April 15, 2013, I ran the Boston Marathon. Given my pace during training, I should have crossed that finish line just as that bomb went off. Fortunately, I was a bit slower that day than I had been in training. But Anne and our daughters were at the finish line. They were about 100 feet away, walking towards the first bomb when it blew up. They were among the lucky on that tragic day. The next year, I ran again. They were at the finish line again. And nearly every foot of that 26.2-mile course was covered with people and with more enthusiasm than I thought possible. The message was clear. We were hurt in 2013, but we wouldn't be stopped. We were stronger together. We were resilient. If I were a different person, and probably if I were your age, I'd have a blue and yellow unicorn tattoo on my calf as a reminder of those 2 days in April in Boston. Instead, and this is true, I find myself regularly thinking about, sometimes even looking at that imaginary unicorn tattoo on my leg. I think of April 15, 2013, as the luckiest day my family will probably ever have. That second race day, April 21st, 2014, well, it stiffens my resolve every time I face a challenge. It's in that spirit that we share this gift with each of you, the strong, the resilient, the accomplished class of 2023. Here it is. This is your gift. It's not a t-shirt, I know you like t-shirts. Here's your gift. It's in the shape of the knot, and it simply says, not today. I hope you'll keep this pen with you. hope you'll keep this pin with you, or you'll keep it in a place where you can see it. I want it to be a reminder of your strength and your perseverance. As multiple tomorrows become reality in the days and years ahead, I know that you'll be ready because of who you are. You'll be ready because of all you've experienced in this place and this community over the last 4 years. You will know that at times, it's critical to put we over me. You'll focus on not just surviving, but thriving. You'll persevere because you've learned that uncertainty is life. It's not something you can close your eyes and wish away. You'll declare, usually to yourself and sometimes to the world, as you confront everything that stands between you and your goals, not today. Not today wildfire smoke. Not today adulting. Not today imposter syndrome. Not today toxic relationships. Not today ignorance and intolerance. Not today economic security. Not today ChatGPT. Not today. Not today. Not today. Because you know what, folks? You are the inspirational class of 2023, and you are ready to lead with wisdom, empathy, and courage in ways large and small, now and across the multiple tomorrows that await you. Class of 2023, congratulations on a job well done. I'll see you tomorrow to shake your hand, to complete that loop. From Admitted Students Day, to your first day at Union, to your first day as a graduate of this great college. Have a good evening, but remember, tomorrow you will be sitting outside in the sun for a couple of hours. Then you're gonna have to walk up and shake my hand. Plan your evening accordingly. Congratulations.